back. Thank you so much for joining your boy. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for taking part in the livest, the most fun interactive sports talk show in America. And you can hit me up at 404-382-0338. Once again, 404-382-0338. And we need your ballers and your busters from this past weekend. You can hit me up on Twitter at The Doug Stewart Show, all one word, or at Doug 2 Live Stews, as a matter of fact. And I think they'll both come to the same place. And got a lot of people hitting me on Twitter right now. Thank you so much for doing that. My man, who we got? Eugene says Baller Award goes to Minnesota's Teddy Bridgewater. Buster to the Pittsburgh Steelers. How the hell do you lose to Jacksonville? Actually, they played Tampa, but I know what you mean. The team they lost to sucks. And we were saying they were the worst team in America last year when they got destroyed by the Atlanta Falcons. That was really horrible. One interesting thing about that game was, I don't know if you have seen it yet, but go online and search the welcome back cheers for James Harrison. When James Harrison, okay, the Steelers are the home team, so when Harrison comes running out the tunnel, they gave this man an ovation like you've never seen before, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful, and wow, James Harrison, and it was sad that it was a loss on a game that you should have won. You clearly should have won this game yesterday, and you lost. It was horrible. So interesting stuff if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Let me get your tweets at thedougstewartshow.com, and also give me a call at 404-382-0338. Whatever you want to talk about from this past weekend in the world of sports, we will do it. We talked about the Falcons a little bit and the disappointing loss on yesterday, as well as the Georgia Bulldog pulling one out against Tennessee. A harder fought game than most people probably thought. But, the Georgia Bulldogs, they got it done. I'll tell you what, though, one thing about Tennessee, I'm going to give a ball award to this kid, Jalen Hurd. Even though he had a fumble this past weekend, the tailback for Tennessee, that kid is going to be the real deal. I mean, for real. You're talking about a huge back. This guy's, 6'3", 225, like Eddie George-ish. Okay? So they're building some things there at Tennessee, but not this weekend. And Georgia continues to win. They get a huge win after winning their last couple of games for the Bulldogs. All right? 404-382-0338. The Dallas Cowboys, man, they get a big win last night, 38-17. Tony Romo threw 3 touchdown passes, and DeMarco Murray ran for a pair of scores in another 100-yard game. One of them on a long scramble, one of the longest scrambles of Romo's career. Excuse me. In the Cowboys' 38-17 victory over the New Orleans Saints on Sunday night, DeMarco Murray joined Emmitt Smith as the only Dallas running backs with 100 yards in the first 4 games of the season. And one thing about DeMarco Murray is, if he can stay healthy, it seems like he's a very good back, one of the upper echelon backs in the NFL, but he can't stay healthy. That's been his whole problem. And so he's been healthy thus far in the season, and so they're giving him the ball. They're giving him the ball, and they're basing everything off the run. Now, let me just say this, and you tell me if you agree with me or not. The question came out last night. When I finished watching that game, I just felt real dirty because I knew I was going to get all these tweets and emails, and you can email me, Doug at thedougstewartshow.com, all these tweets and emails, from these Cowboy fans who are just obnoxious. But the question arose last night in my mind, and they talked about it today on the 4-Letter Network, a.k.a. the Puppet Factory. Is Dallas that good, or are the Saints just that bad? And I would say the latter, because clearly Dallas isn't that good. I'm sorry. You can talk your ass off. They got a 3-1 record. They got a great win last night where they destroyed a team who a lot of people thought was a contender. But no, I just think that the Saints are that bad. I think that the Saints defense is an all-time losing defense. I don't think the Saints are going to be able to stop anybody. And they haven't been able to stop anybody this year. Even in the shootout they had against the Falcons, it was just that, a shootout. And that's what teams like Dallas and New Orleans and Atlanta are going to have to do. They're going to have to get into a shootout and hope they're on the right side of the scoreboard when time runs out. But what I saw last night was just horrible. Now, really, and I mean, if you're a Cowboy fan and you are listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if you're a Cowboy fan, just keep it real. Just keep it real and hit me up on Twitter or give me a call at 404-382-0338. Do you really think your team is as good as it looked last night? Do you really think that? Okay, so if you think your team is that good, what do you see your team winning 11 ball games this year? Huh? 12 ball games? You know better than that. I mean, let's just keep it real. You know better than that. You know that team isn't that good. All right? What I will say is offensively, they're good, and I've said that all year long. The offensive line looks fantastic. It's starting to look like, that Dallas offensive line from the mid-90s. All right? They're playing fantastic. I'll give you that. I will give you that. But that defense is not that good. The Saints are just out of sorts right now, I believe, and they can't stop anybody. Last year, historically, the worst defense in the history of football from that Dallas Cowboy team, and they don't have anybody else back. They don't have anybody new, really. They don't. They don't. So, what? Okay, let me hear from you. What do you think? I'm getting all of this, a barrage of texts and emails, saying, we back, Stu, we back. No, damn it, you not back. You know you not back. You damn well know you not back. You had a great win last night. I got to give it to you. Matter of fact, I will give the Dallas Cowboys a ball award just because I'm the people's champ and I keep it real around here. I will give the Dallas Cowboys a ball award, but you can't think that your team's that good. Here comes a tweet from Kendall. Kendall says, baller, J.J. Watt, Buster's the foot that got, or the guy, I actually read this one already, but he's talking about the guy that got body slammed. Here's one from Kevin. Kevin says, my baller goes to old man Steve Smith and the young boy Teddy Bridgewater. And my buster was E.J. Manuel. E.J. Manuel, who threw a horrible pick yesterday to end that game where they had an opportunity to actually win. So that's the type of growing pains that you're going to have as a quarterback, but you just don't want to do it in that situation. And Geno Smith continues to look like he doesn't belong in the NFL. At some points, at some points it looks like Geno can play in the NFL, but then the other 90% of the time, it looks like he sucks and that he doesn't belong out there. So, oh man, so Buster Award goes to those guys as well. So, yeah, but the Cowboys, incredible game last night, incredible win. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you are in hog heaven because everybody doubted you, including myself. Drew Brees had touchdown passes to Josh Hill and Jimmy Graham early in the fourth quarter to get the Saints to 31-17, but then the Cowboys just, put everything in slow motion and they got it done. Okay? Dallas reached 3-1 for the first time under Coach Jason Garrett after also starting 2-1 in the previous 3 seasons, but then they just fall off the cliff. And I'm looking for that to happen again this year. I am absolutely looking for Dallas to fall off the cliff this year. Here's a tweet from Open Thinking Podcast Dude. Thank you so much for joining me again, Open Thinking Podcast Dude. He's calling from the Netherlands or tweeting from the Netherlands. He says, I'm ashamed of my Panthers defense yesterday against the Ravens. Yes, and that Panthers defense that was lauded so much from last year as being one of the best defenses in the league, Steve Smith just ran through him. His blood and guts everywhere. And we're going to talk about that story a little bit more in the next segment. But Steve Smith, man, I think Steve Smith might be one of my favorite players of all time. I love his swagger and his toughness. Steve Smith will whoop your ass. Not only is Steve Smith a tough player and a great wide receiver and maybe the best receiver in Carolina Panthers or best player in Carolina Panthers history, I think Steve Smith, man, might be an all-timer. He's been doing this for a long, long time, and I think that he actually might be the best player in Carolina Panthers history. Can you name another guy that's done more for that Panthers organization than Steve Smith and had a better career than Steve Smith? And I heard mentioned this morning on one of these shows, Sam Mills. But the thing about Sam Mills, I kind of remember Sam Mills just as much or more so as a player for the New Orleans Saints, early in his career. So I don't know. I think maybe Steve Smith is that guy. So we're going to get into that conversation a little bit later about Steve Smith. As a matter of fact, coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll talk about Steve Smith and that big win for the Baltimore Ravens. But wow, just an incredible weekend. Dallas gets it done. Unbelievable. The Cowboys had 445 yards against their former defensive coordinator, Rob Ryan, who directed the scheme that led to the franchise's worst offensive performance in years last season, about 10 months after they fired him. And so he's doing the same damn thing for the New Orleans Saints. And I mentioned it earlier. That I think that that these Ryan boys might be overrated and that they're living off their daddy's legacy. And it's hard to argue with me because they really haven't done a lot. Rex has done a great job with the Jets for a couple of years, and I think more so it's just because he had great players on that defense. Okay, Bart Scott and those guys. But now, Jets are struggling. Rex can't coach his way out of a paper bag. He's not a head coach. Rex Ryan is not a head coach material type guy. He's a great defensive coordinator a lot of times when he has talent once again. But I think that's even overrated. All right? And what his Bubba is doing down here, Rob, or what he's done over the last couple of years is just horrible. And their reputations are taking a big-time hit. I mean, a huge hit. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that? 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. That's 404-382-0338. Wow, need your ballers and your busters from this past weekend. Whatever you want to get into, whatever you want to talk about, this is your place to do it. Tell somebody about the show. All I ask is that you tell one person. We are going to make this the biggest sports talk show in America by far. Have the most fun, talk to the most guests, and let you get your real opinions out there. You don't have to sugarcoat anything. Call up here. If your team sucks, if you want to call out your coach, you can do it. 404-382-0338. Up next on the Doug Stewart Show, we'll talk a little bit about Steve Smith and blood and guts on the field. And we'll get your ballers and your busters and read your tweets and have fun. The funnest show on turf. This is the Doug Stewart Show. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running. But just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your folk. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Yes! This your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-file, prescription savings, and a fully encompassed prepaid legal benefit that includes identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedugstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, "I know you better not be talking long distance running up my bill with that little hussy girl." Well, get with the times with the long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60-plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedugstewartshow.com or the link on the Doug